All right, Gemini, welcome to your April of 2015 horoscope. My name is Athen. So we have a transitioning month in April coming from March, which was a very transformational month, very powerful, intense month for a lot of us. We had the Uranus Pluto Square going exact at that time. We had a lot of the fast-moving planets all going over Uranus, activating that, and we had the solar eclipse. So this month in April is like a gateway. It's like a starting point for the next 6 months from that solar eclipse. But it's also a culmination point because we have a lunar eclipse on the 4th, which is a culmination of the past 6 months since October. So you can see it's a transitioning. It's an ending and then beginnings, culmination and beginnings here. And for the first 7 or 8 days of the month, we are still in a transitional period with the energies from March. So what I mean by that is we have the Sun going over Uranus and we have your ruler Mercury going over Uranus as well. So there's definitely some finishing up. It's not nearly as intense as it was last month because the Uranus square isn't exact anymore. It's still there in the sky and we're finishing it up, but not nearly as impactful. So the key here is to learn and to treat it as a sort of learning process because there's something being integrated and finished up here in regards to that, but it's for about the first week, and then from that point forward things start to expand. We have Jupiter going station direct. We got the new moon in Aries and some other things as well. But let's talk about the 4th. On the 4th we have the full moon energy of the lunar eclipse taking place in Virgo, which is your guys' 4th house. So since October, maybe you guys started off into a direction that had to do with your joy, your passion, your zest for life, or with home, family, your past or roots, something in that nature, because you're having a culmination now here in your 4th house. So I think that whatever it was, I think you're going to see that there is a shifting here of your life path, but in a positive way of a culmination of the home, family type of situation or past situation or emotional, sentimental connections that you have in life, which are often home and family, but not always. So a nice full moon energy here, the lunar eclipse. Reflect on this time is at least an awareness of these elements of your 4th house here. And that can be a very good segue into the rest of the month. And this is, of course, opposite your 10th, which is where all this transformation and change has been happening last month and a little bit this month, which is with your career, with your work, or anything on that public level. You had Uranus being activated by the fast-moving planets, and now the Sun goes over Uranus here on the 6th. And then your ruler on the 7th and 8th. So for this whole period, the key here is to continue to move forward with your work and anything you're doing on that public level for sure. And you want to see that there's this freedom that you're breaking free from. And ask yourself what it is that you really enjoy in your work. What is it you really enjoy contributing in your work with Uranus, giving? And how can you have more time? How can you have more free time? How can you really get more excitement into what you're doing on that career or public level? And you want to keep that nice and balanced because while there's a lot of activity in your 10th, we also have a lot of activity in your 4th from the lunar eclipse. So balancing home and work is going to be an emphasis here for these 7 days as well. You have Pluto in your 7th house. So there's changes happening with relationships, or you're learning the power dynamics of relationships, which is about mutual respect through relationships. And so this is all an integration here. So treat this, like I said, as a learning experience from the 4th through the 8th in terms of how you can gain more freedom through your work in a grounded way, how you can create positive change in your relationships so there is no bonds and attachments, and because that's what Pluto is. It rules our bonds, attachments, things that we are overly attached to that might be creating friction there. Be willing to release, be willing to let go with those relationships, and balance that as well with this culmination and things coming about from home and family, you see. And I think if you do that, you'll be getting the most out of that, especially from the 7th and 8th when Mercury is aspecting that part of the chart. And I think generally though, I think you guys are going to be feeling quite optimistic about it, at least leading into it, because on the 6th, we have your ruler trining up to Jupiter. So you're seeing the open horizons, you're seeing the possibilities. So I don't think it's going to be as, catalytic as maybe for some other folks who don't have their ruler being trined by Jupiter while this is happening, you see. So Mercury is also conjuncting up to the south node as well, so I think you guys are learning more about your past, your roots, where you come from, and thinking about the old, but don't get caught up into the old either. You know, I don't think you will, but, you know, it's about moving forward here. It's about moving forward in those areas. Now, Venus goes into Taurus on the 6th, okay, which is that 12th house of yours. So with Venus in Taurus, she's going to be there for the entirety of the month from the 6th onward. So enjoy that alone time. Enjoy the spiritual elements of life. Enjoy getting that rest and relaxation this month, because it is an active month for all of us. Like I said, it's a gateway of energy moving forward. But with Venus in the 12th, there's good enjoyment here when you're taking the rest and the breaks, or just having that presence in what you're doing. So that's a good emphasis there as well. Now on the 8th, we have a transition. We have Jupiter going station direct finally. He's been retrograde since the beginning of December. So this is very nice. It's about abundance. Very nice for you because he's in your 2nd house. 2nd house is about your finances, your resources, your values, your sense of self-worth, you know, what you believe that you're worth, what you value in yourself. And so I think you guys have been reflecting on that, refining that, reworking that in your life in some way. And so now on the 8th onward, as he starts to gain momentum, you really start to put that energy out there and start to see a lot of the abundance or finances or things that are opportunities for you to increase your self-reliance, your own personal self-reliance, you see. And he's going to be there all the way until the mid-year, Jupiter is. So towards the end of the month, because he has to gain momentum here, look for those opportunities. But once the doors open, make something of them. You see, you have to ground those opportunities. On the 11th, we have your ruler going into Aries, which is your 11th house. So this is where there's definitely a shift here mid-month, going from the work to more of the, again, enjoyment of your work, or perhaps getting involved with friends and networking. And, you know, it can take a lot of forms, but generally it's about the satisfaction you get when you give. So whether it is that you're giving through your work, or whether it's you're giving through groups and humanitarian things, you know, through your friends or whatever, or maybe you are involved with something on that global level, then you're going to get the most out of this. From the 11th through the 27th, if there's a flow for you here, the middle part, to get involved with friends, to network, to enjoy, you know, the excitement in what you do, in your visions, in your pursuits, in your ambitions in life. You see all these things, your visions in terms of what's the betterment for those around you, for the world. You see. So very nice energy. That can also be income and gains from your work as well. So that could be a time of reflecting on that, or thinking about that, or becoming active in that in some way. On the 12th, we have Mars sextiling up to Neptune from that 11th house. So you guys are motivated, I think, to network, to, you know, get involved with some of the things that might have to do with giving and contributing. So that's really good. And that's forming a nice aspect to Neptune, which could create some opportunities there through that sector. Could be from abroad, even too, with Neptune in your 9th house. Could be through your life path, serendipitously. Because your guys' life path is, how do you say, you're just going with the flow. And so go with the flow, 12th, and you might see an opportunity there. And if you do, you can choose or choose not to entertain it because it's a sextile, but it could be something nice there. On the 14th, we have the Sun going into your 11th. So a lot of this transitioning you see from the 10th, which is career work, into the 11th, which is the satisfaction of giving. So from the 14th onward and for the first half of May, this is a time where, you know, it's about seeing, you know, how to give and enjoying that, or spending time being a part of something that's greater than self is a good way of looking at the 11th house. So with the Sun there, that's illuminating that. You've already got a lot of energy there, Mars, then Mercury. So here I think maybe some new projects, some new goals relating to that, because it is Aries, would be great. Be great. Creative things especially. On the 15th and 16th, we have Venus opposing up to Saturn. So with Venus in your 12th house, with the spiritual stuff, I think you're, you know, with this rest and relaxation, just make sure you're balancing this rest and relaxation or spiritual stuff with this work that you've been putting into, with your health and routine. You guys have had Saturn recently go into your 6th house towards, I believe, October of last year. And so since then, you guys have been setting a good foundation, a good structure, hopefully with your routine or with your health. And so you want to just balance that, make sure you're not spending so much time in bed or something and relaxing too much to where you're not, you know, moving forward with the routine or the regiments or the timetables or whatever it is that you're restructuring and creating there with your self-improvement, you see. So good balance there, especially on the 15th and 16th, will create a nice harmony here. It could be that you enjoy the routine when you have that nice balanced perspective. On the 17th, we have Mars squaring up to Jupiter. This is more opportunities here, but here's the caution. It's a square, and it's also the time of the new moon. 17th, 18th, and 19th, it's a time where I think we want to be very receptive in the sense of, I think we're all going to be very ambitious. But it's the new moon where we want to feel our inner guidance. It's not the time of really launching forward too fast. And I think if on the 17th we launch forward too fast, there might be a little bit something around that causes us to go back into a reflective sort of state. But if we're willing to do this, if we're willing to reflect, then this can be a good time for us to use that drive and ambition to think about what we want to see for the next 30 days and the next 6 months with this new moon. And again, for you, it's involving that 11th house. So with the giving, contributing, with the enjoyment from your work, network circles, networking, all of this stuff, reflecting around this time around that, around those areas is going to be the best utilization of this. Then from the 21st to the 22nd, when we have Mercury, your ruler, conjuncting up to Mars, then that is definitely go time. So doing that reflection is going to help lay the foundation for when the 21st, 22nd come around, and for the rest of the month, you have this drive and this ambition, which is very powerful too, because that Mars is trining up to Jupiter, which means that Mercury is going to be trining up to Jupiter. That's very powerful. It's an intensity here, a positive one. Positive intensity for you to pursue these things that are relating to that 11th house. And it could be from relationships. It could be from, you know, these network circles or whatever it is that you're doing. But it's very nice. Utilize that energy. 21st, 22nd in particular. On the 26th, we've got Venus sextiling up to Uranus. That can be an opportunity, relationship opportunity, maybe spiritual, maybe to get some rest and relaxation. Maybe through your work too. It could be an opportunity through your work with Uranus transiting your 10th. So look out for that. And again, it's a sextile, so you can choose or choose not to entertain that opportunity. On the 27th, your ruler goes into Taurus, your 12th house. So this is where the transition starts to lead into May, where it's you're getting that rest, relaxation, and R&R, and enjoying life, you know, enjoying a peace, a simple life. On the 29th, the Sun sextiles up to Neptune. So that's another opportunity there. Maybe an opportunity on your life path, more of this networking stuff, you see? So it's leading into May, but it's coming from this new moon in your 11th, around the 18th. So this sort of second half of the month, there's going to be opportunities, and it's from this drive and ambition, whatever it is that you're working on with that 11th house, you see. All right, Mercury, you guys aren't Mercury, you're Gemini. Hope you guys have a fantastic month. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and I will talk to you next time. Take care.